Welcome to the WB Nation Coaches Report with head coach Kristina Hernandez on GoHofstra.com. I'm Ryan Mayer, and Coach, let's jump straight into it. This is a team that struggled a little bit last season, but you have only 5 players returning from that roster. You have a whole new influx of players. How do you think that new blood is going to help your team out going into this season?
Preseason's been going really well so far. You know, we just finished 2 weeks of practice, and the team's really gelling. They're really cohesive. We've put our offense into place, and now we're just trying to clean it up. But so far, you know, a lot of the new players have brought a lot of different energy, and it's been really good. So I think the returners did a really good job of, you know, bringing in all these players and kind of adapting well to that. So so far so good, but you know, we need to get out there and play and kind of see how it goes.
Now you bring back 2 players that last season were injured throughout much of the year, Taylor Moore and Anissa Whitney. What are you looking to see from them in their senior seasons?
You know, Anissa's been really well. You know, we weren't expecting her to be back, so it's a really nice surprise. And she, even though, you know, not playing for a year, she's really kind of just thrown herself into preseason and gotten back into the groove of things. So, you know, I think her and Taylor very much just experience. You know, they've been playing for a very long time here, and you know, they have this demeanor about them that, you know, even though they might not be 100% to where they usually can be, they're still producing for us, and they kind of bring that experience to the team that we might not, you know, have because we're a little bit younger.
Now, you speak about some of those younger players, obviously a lot of transfers in as well. Behind Anissa, who have you seen step up for that second middle blocker spot? I know it's been a little bit of battle so far throughout the preseason. Who have you seen in your mind really step up and try and take control of that spot?
Erica's done a really good job. You know, she's probably one of the best blockers on our team. She's very consistent, reads really well, and we're trying to get her more involved in the offense. You know, she's a really smart hitter, and she can score all the time. We're just trying to get her the ball, but she's definitely somebody that we can trust being in the middle, just because she is, you know, really good at reading offenses and making a really good decision on the block.
Now let's move to the outside hitter position. Obviously, you returned Nikki Kinnear, leading the team in kills last season. So obviously, great to have her back again. What are you expecting out of her in now? What is her junior season?
You know, she has really surprised me this preseason camp. You know, she had a great year last year, but she has definitely stepped her game up a lot, and you can just tell that she's a very calm player now. She's making some great decisions offensively. You know, she's kind of taking the load of the offense, and she's very consistent, and I don't think that's something that we saw from her all the time last year. I think she had some really great games, and then would kind of go in and out, but you know, Catalina's kind of been in that starting setter position, and she's become somebody that Catalina really relies on when things aren't working really well. So I'm excited to see how she does once we start playing, because I've seen her develop into this totally different player, and I think it's just going to make, you know, it's going to be more fun to watch her, because she really is just making some great decisions on her own, and it's really exciting just to watch her do what she's doing, and I'm excited to see her play.
Now those 2 spots behind Taylor Moore and Nikki Kinnear, again, obviously with not many returning players, a little bit up for grabs. Who have you seen in the outside hitter and the backup right side hitter in terms of who has stepped up so far this camp?
Kelsey has done a really good job on the outside, kind of stepping in as our second outside. She's very strong. She's really physical. She's going to probably be one of our primary passers. She's become really consistent in that area, which is something that we really needed. And she's gonna make some great, you know, she's gonna score a lot of points for us, and she has done a really good job of stepping into that role as a freshman. So I'm excited to see how she continues to develop over the season. I think she's just going to continue to be stronger, but she has really filled that role during preseason pretty well as being our second outside. The right side, we've got a few options. You know, we've got Alexa, who was with us in the spring, and Anna. We've kind of got a lot of different players on the right side that do different things. One's really, you know, a good blocker. Anna's a really good blocker. She puts up a very huge block. You know, she's 6'3", and I think when we play bigger teams, that's going to really help us to have that option. Taylor is just doing a really good job for us offensively, and she's very fast, and she knows her offense, so it kind of helps to have her out there. And Alexa's kind of the same player. She's a little bit smaller, but she's very quick, and she has a really good arm. So I think we have some options there, you know, depending on what type of outsides we play. especially when we go to, Missouri State and California. I think you're going to face them bigger outside, so I think having the option to whether we want to focus on a block on the right side or really producing some offense, we can play around a little bit with that.
Now, you spoke about that starting setter position a little bit. Catalina Cherry has really stepped up and sort of taking control of that position so far in the preseason. How has the chemistry been between her and her hitters in terms of the timing? Are they starting to get that down moving forward throughout the rest of this week, heading into the first couple of games?
The middle of last week, I really started to see kind of things really clicking, and I think it took us, a little bit to get there, about a week and a half or so, especially with our outsides, just kind of speeding it up. And we, Kelsey and Nikki are really quick, and we wanted to use that to our advantage, especially since our passing is a lot stronger this year. So we wanted to speed up our outsides a little bit, and they've really cleaned that connection up last week, towards the end of last week, so it's starting to really work for us. So again, I think as long as we now just focus on passing well and playing good defense, we're going to be able to run at the speed that we want to. So, but it's gone really well. Catalina's really smart when she plays, and she really listens to her hitters and tries to figure out, whether she needs to speed it up, slow it down, or push it, a little bit past the pin or inside. So she's done a good job with that.
Now, as a setter, usually you see that as more of a vocal leader on the court. What have you seen from her in terms of her leadership abilities going into the rest of the preseason and then getting started with those first couple of games this coming weekend?
Catalina does both. I think she can be very vocal at times, especially if things aren't clicking really well. She's just going to kind of, go into another gear and kind of get on everybody. But she leads really well on the court simply by being a really calm setter, and she's going to put the ball there all the time, and she's going to be consistent. And she, the hitters have really trust her to do that, and I think that's how she really leads, is just having, her middles and her right sides and her outsides really trust what she's doing, and it kind of makes things a lot smoother on the court.
Now, one of the other returning starters that you have coming into this year is your libero, Catalina. Had a pretty good sophomore campaign. What are you looking to see from her in her junior season? Has the passing improved a little bit as she really stepped into that role of the primary passer on this team?
She definitely has. She's starting to kind of cut people off and kind of take over in the back row, which is what we've been wanting her to do. But she's making some really good defensive plays, and she's all over the place, and she's kind of picking out slack where we might be not so strong defensively. So she's doing a good job of that, and I think her numbers are going to raise this year because of it. So I think she's going to be, very consistent and stable for us in the back row, and I think you're just going to see her as a more mature player and really kind of embrace that libero role a little bit more than what she was previous years.
Now, Coach, let's get into the schedule a little bit. Obviously, with 2 invitational tournaments right here at the Physical Education Building at Hofstra University, 6 of your first 7 matches at home. How does that really help a team to sort of gel, to be on that home court for so many games in a row before you have to head down to some of the tougher tournaments like the Aggie Invitational and the Dr. Mary Jo Wynn tournament?
I think we wanted to be home. I think with such a lot of new players on our team, we wanted to put them in an environment where they were comfortable, so we could, hopefully be successful early on in our gym, be comfortable with the environment that we're at, and then get on the road after, hopefully that we've got some wins underneath our belt. But I think they're excited about being home. It kind of takes the stress away of just having to travel and go far and flying. And, so it's nice to be home. I think it will make things a little bit easier for us just to start off with so many players, so we can kind of get adapted to how we're going to, how things are going to go for the season.
Right. So Norfolk State, your first match coming up this Friday. I'm sure you're ready to go. Getting back onto the volleyball court seems like the reaction that I'm getting from all of your players so far. What are you looking at from a team like Norfolk State? You've faced them last year in a similar sort of situation. What do you see from them, and how are you guys going to try and attack them this coming Friday?
Norfolk's probably a really scrappy team. I think they're going to throw some things at us that we're probably not ready for, and we need to be ready on our toes. So, as a team, we would just want to get out there and stay as clean as possible. And I really just want to see them play how we've been practicing. So I think that's the key. And I think anybody that we're, playing early on, we really don't know what they look like. Again, the same thing with us. We bring in all these new players, so we need to be ready for that. So it's more just worrying about what we're doing early on in these first, this first weekend, worrying about how we're executing rather than what anybody else is going to do to us, because we can't really scout them. So I think we want to just focus on what we've been doing well, which is, you know, our passing has been really consistent in our serving, and we want to see our offense. So those have been really the three main goals that we've been trying to really smooth out over the past 2 weeks.
Now, the other two matches that you have coming up this weekend, Radford College, also Manhattan College as well. So two more teams that you're really not sure of what to expect from them. How do you prepare for those type of games, considering that you don't have the scouting report on them? It's so early in the season. Obviously, they can't prepare as much for you guys
Right.
either, because you bring in so many new players. So how do you really prepare for a team like that? Is it more just making sure you play your own style, or what are you looking to do?
Yeah, like it's definitely just executing how we want to offensively and doing the things that we want to do, and really trying to focus on doing all those things and not getting sloppy, especially with the first weekend. You know, we want to be as smooth as possible. So again, it's just more about executing our style of play and winning games like that, and not really worrying about what anybody else is doing to us. I think Radford and Manhattan are really feisty teams. I've seen them just in the past. You know, I think they're going to, you know, come and give us a lot of, you know, competition, and I think that's what we need. I think it'll be good, and as long as we stay consistent with what we want to do and execute our plan, I think that we can, you know, come out and do some really good things.
All right, Coach, one final question for you. 3 matches this weekend. Can I get maybe a prediction, what you're looking to see out of the weekend? Where do you think your team's going to come out of this weekend?
I think if we do everything that we've been doing so well, you know, I think we can have a really successful weekend. I'm not going to give you a number because I feel really superstitious. I don't want to jinx myself. But I know the team's really excited. I think they want to come in here and they want to win on their home court. We haven't been in there for 2 weeks, so I think they're really excited about just playing on our floor and really just showing everybody what we've been doing and how special they are. I know they're really excited, and I'm excited to see them play. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, so we'll see.
All right, Hofstra Volleyball coach Kristina Hernandez, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.